Everyone, Drip here. So the new episode of Diamond just came out and holy shit, they dropped a lot of lore about the Dragon Ball multiverse and how it originated. Now this isn't my usual type of content because I always leave it to people like Geekdom 101 and people like that to make this type of content, like reviewing Dragon Ball episodes, and they do a pretty good job doing that. So yeah, I've been watching their channels for years as well. But I've been getting a lot of requests from my fans saying, hey Drip, we want to know what you think about this. So I'm about to tell you what I think about this specifically and how it all fits into Dragon Ball Super. So just sit back and let's review it together.
では簡単に大昔その時代の良き大魔王は赤いを広げようとライムスというものすごい能力を持つ超魔人に命じて宇宙を作らせます。
So right off the bat, we're introduced to a Supreme Demon King that wanted to expand the demon realm, so he ordered the Majin Rymus to create the universe. So what this means is that the demon realm actually existed way before even the universe existed. Now, interestingly, when they use the word universe in this case, they may not be referring to just Universe 7, but the entire multiverse, as in most cases when they use the word universe, they are referring to all of creation rather than just a singular portion of creation, which in this case is Universe 7. So I think they're using the word universe, synonymously for the word multiverse in this case. So this Majin Rymus is actually the creator of the multiverse, which is very, very interesting and amazing lore to know about. So he says they are still the highest authority in the universe. Now, obviously, Majin Rymus is only one person, so when it says they, then it's referring to a collective of people. So it could include, the first Demon King, along with Rymus being the highest authority in the universe. Now, does this mean that he's stronger than Zeno? No, it doesn't, because Zeno was specifically stated to be the most powerful being in the multiverse. The most powerful, specifically stated by Whis, that, Grand Zeno is the most powerful being in the multiverse. He can annihilate anything in existence, regardless of its scale or complexity. So, yeah, I don't think Majin Rymus is more powerful than Zeno. I don't think the first Demon King is more powerful than Zeno. I mean, you can have a higher authority than someone and not necessarily be more powerful than them in a grand scheme of things. Like the Supreme Kais, for example, had, a much higher authority than even the mortals. But we've seen some of the mortals like Goku, surpass the Supreme Kais. And, people like Beerus, Goku potentially surpassing Beerus in Ultra Instinct. So yes, you can have a higher authority than someone in the grand scheme of things and not necessarily be more powerful than the person. Well, I'm definitely a bit happy that they continued with the galaxy type, designs when referring to the universes or the macrocosm bubbles. So there is some consistency there, although they didn't put it in a bubble, but you can kind of see, the idea that they're trying to give, that those are in fact universes and not just galaxies. But in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to Zeno, it's not really something that, affects his position, because Zeno's palace alone makes universes look like, tiny marbles. So, having this Majin Rymus above Zeno because of that, or being equal to Zeno because of that, is not really, a feat that is enough to put him on that level. Because Zeno didn't just destroy the 12 macrocosms, but destroyed the entire timeline that contains them, including his palace, the realm that contains his palace, which transcends all those macrocosms. So even his power, even reaching the Zamasu that was in the other timeline. So yeah, that's, creating universes is not a feat that should put you on the level of Zeno whatsoever. So we haven't really seen any feats from Majin Rymus or any of these other people to compare him to Zeno whatsoever. Now, if you watch this live video that I streamed about a month ago, I explained how Beats World ties into the Dragon Ball cosmology and how it potentially gets the Dragon Ball cosmology to like high outer. So people like Goku and the gang, right? If you watched his canonicity video explaining how, you know, the games and movies are canon to Dragon Ball Super and how all the feats are canon as well, have been able to affect these realms that are much higher than the Dragon Ball cosmology, like the base cosmology, the base multiverse, have been able to affect realms that are beyond infinite amount of, you know, outerversal timelines, infinite amount of, you know, multiverses, and realms that transcend that, like Beats World, the Charisma World, you know, fictional Japan, true Japan, you know, the Crack of Time, all the realms like that. So like, creating universes is not a feat that would put you on the level of Zeno, because even way weaker characters than Zeno have been able to perform vastly better feats than that. So this doesn't put them anywhere near the level of Zeno whatsoever. And I know some of you might be thinking, oh, Toriyama wasn't thinking about all those feats in the games. And no, Toriyama worked with the people making the games, and he was the main person who agreed that all those feats and all those games were canon. If you watch a canonicity video, it's explained. Toriyama does not believe the games are non-canon. Y'all are the one making that shit up. So based on feats alone, this Super Majin Rymus is not even anywhere close to Zeno. Matter of fact, not even anywhere close to Goku, because sure, you created like what, 18 universes? Battle of Gods Goku could already at least destroy one of these universes, and he's gotten millions of times stronger since then. So yeah, there isn't really any feat that puts him on the level of even Goku, much less Zeno. So unless there's a direct statement in Dragon Ball Daima that says, oh, this guy is just as powerful as the Omni King, or something of the sort, then he's not really anywhere, you know, near those levels, and he's just like a really, you know, high authority person, much like a Supreme Kai, who can still be weaker than the mortals, just like how Goku is stronger than Supreme Kai. He's been stronger than Supreme Kai for years on end, and even stronger than Beerus in recent, you know, chapters. So yeah, that doesn't really mean he's like the most powerful being in the multiverse, or some, you know, theories that all these fans are just spreading around. Like, no, this isn't the case whatsoever. Don't use those arguments, don't spread them. Yeah, sure, he kind of looks like Zeno, he kind of has Zeno's design a bit, but like, he's just not, you know, on the level of Zeno. Like, no, he's not. Please stop spreading that argument.
そこでライムス様は我々グリーンド人の中から何人かを選び、宇宙の監視員として各宇宙に海洋神として派遣したのです。
So as you can see, they show the other Supreme Kais from the other universes, such as Gowasu from Universe 10. So it's obvious that those galaxy designs were not actually galaxies, but actually universes being created potentially in the neutral zone, because we know the neutral zone itself actually looks like a universe, but it's actually bigger than all 12 of the macrocosms, which in of themselves have, you know, galaxy-like designs in a bubble. So yes, those are actually universes and not galaxies. It's just a design, you know. You can't animate an infinite universe. You gotta draw it somehow, and drawing it like a galaxy makes it look more aesthetically appealing. And remember, even in Fusion Reborn, you know, they draw the entire macrocosm as a galaxy as well, when Gogeta's energy, you know, lights up the macrocosm. So it's not a new thing in Dragon Ball for the macrocosm to be drawn, you know, as a galaxy, right? So take note of that. So we know by Daizenshuu that the, you know, living world is made up of the universe and the demon realm, right? But we learn by Dragon Ball Daima that, you know, they wanted to expand the demon realm, which is why the universes were created. So possibly this hints that the universes were created with, you know, their own demon realms that are like, you know, an expansion of the true demon realm where everything originated from. So I think that's the explanation that makes the most sense and wouldn't, you know, let us use too much headcanon. But so far, this is all the information we have and all the logical assumptions we can come up with based on the evidence that we've been given in prior, you know, sagas and episodes. But, you know, more episodes of Daima could come out later and, you know, retcon a bunch of things. But yeah, based on the information we have, this is, you know, the conclusions we should come to. So yeah, that's basically it. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe. And those videos I recommended you watch, the canonicity video and the live stream I made, watch that so you can understand the canonicity of Dragon Ball and how, you know, the games and movies ties in and how those explain all the lore and everything like that. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe because we always do Dragon Ball content here. Alright guys, peace out.